Hey guys, tonight we're drifting back in time. Way back before medieval castles, before Romans built aqueducts, before even the first farmer decided wheat was a good idea. We're sliding into the deep chill of the Ice Age. So, if you're cozy in bed, dim the lights, and picture yourself in a fur blanket that may or may not smell like mammoth grease. Because, yes, tonight, we're talking about snacks. Caveman snacks. Now, the Ice Age lasted a really long time. Like, ridiculously long. Imagine waiting for your Uber Eats order, but it takes about 2.6 million years. That's basically the Pleistocene for you. People often imagine ice-aged humans sitting around fires, gnawing on giant mammoth drumsticks, like something out of a Flintstones rerun. And yes, sometimes they did. But the truth is a lot more. Chewy, strange, and occasionally disgusting. So let's start easy. Let's wander over to the Ice Age fridge. Spoiler, it was just the outside. Things stayed cold naturally, which made life simpler, but there wasn't exactly a consistent menu. Depending on whether you were in Ice Age France or Ice Age Siberia, your snacking options were wildly different. One group might nibble on hazelnuts, while another might be sucking the marrow out of a reindeer bone. Appetizing, right? Nuts and berries, nature's trail mix. First off, berries, always a solid choice. Even back then, humans had a sweet tooth. Wild strawberries, blueberries, and cranberries grew in the warmer seasons, and people picked them whenever they could. No sugar packets, no whipped cream, just you, crouched in the bushes, hoping you don't get mauled by a bear who also wants a handful. Oh nuts. Archaeologists found massive piles of charred hazelnut shells on prehistoric sites. It's basically proof that Ice Age people were hosting the original snack parties. Imagine a circle of hunter-gatherers roasting hazelnuts over a fire, cracking them open, and quietly judging each other's cracking techniques. Because, of course they were. And acorns. Yes, acorns. Humans have been eating those for ages. But here's the catch. Acorns taste terrible unless you leach out the tannin. That means soaking them in water for days until they stop being bitter. Which means Ice Age people actually put some work into preparing their snacks. This wasn't just grabbing handfuls and chewing. It was a process. Caveman meal prep. Bugs. The original protein bars. Let's move to something less Instagram-friendly. Insects. Humans have been crunching bugs for most of our history, and the Ice Age was no different. Grubs, beetles, crickets, ants, all fair game. They were full of protein, easy to catch, and, let's be honest, much easier than chasing a bison with a stick. We don't know exactly how they prepared them. Probably raw sometimes, maybe roasted on a hot rock if they were feeling fancy. Imagine someone squatting by the fire, turning over sizzling beetles like they're miniature kebabs. Yum. And before you wrinkle your nose, remember 1. This was survival. 2. Even today, billions of people still snack on bugs. And 3. The Ice Age folks probably thought you were the weird one for eating powdered cheese dust off Doritos. Bone marrow, the real prize. Now let's get into the heavy stuff. Hunting was dangerous, exhausting, and often a total failure. But when someone actually managed to kill a big animal, mammoth, woolly, rhinoceros, bison, nothing went to waste. And the best part wasn't even the meat, it was the marrow. Bone marrow was the Ice Age equivalent of chocolate cake. Fatty, rich, and full of calories. Exactly what you needed when living in a freezing tundra. People cracked open long bones to suck out the marrow like it was a milkshake. In fact, Archaeologists have found bones with clear-cut marks showing they were deliberately split for this purpose. It wasn't just food, it was social. Sharing marrow around the fire probably felt like a feast. Imagine someone carefully cracking open a giant mammoth femur, handing out spoonfuls like they're serving dessert. The Ice Age version of passing the Ben and Jerry's tub. Jerky and fat balls, okay? So let's say you've killed a reindeer. You're not eating it all in one night, unless your group is unusually ambitious. So you need storage. That's where drying meat came in. Early humans made proto-jerky, thin strips left out to air dry in the cold, then smoked over a fire. Portable, chewy, and it lasted. Basically beef jerky, but with less spice and more mammoth hair stuck to it. And then there were fat balls. Yes, fat balls. People mixed animal fat with dried berries or crushed nuts, rolling it into dense little packages of calories. Honestly, it sounds suspiciously like an energy bar. Paleo diet influencers wish they were this authentic. Fish, slippery but worth it now. Picture rivers and lakes in the Ice Age, cold, full of fish. Salmon, trout, sturgeon. Catching them wasn't easy without modern rods, but humans figured out nets, traps, and spears pretty quickly. And here's the fun part. Some fish were eaten raw. Sushi, but without the artful presentation. Just slice and swallow, sometimes frozen. Literally Ice Age sashimi. A bit chewy, possibly parasite-ridden. But hey, protein is protein. Fish bones show up in campsites, sometimes burned, sometimes gnawed down to splinters, meaning people were really into them. Honestly, fishing was probably one of the more relaxing activities, way easier than chasing a mammoth that wanted to stomp you into the snow. Plants and roots, the forgotten snacks. Here's a less glamorous truth. Most Ice Age diets weren't giant roasts. They were plants, wild onions, garlic, carrots, and tubers. Roots were everywhere, and people dug them up constantly. Imagine pulling a knobbly root out of the dirt, roasting it in the fire, and chewing on it until your jaw ached. Not glamorous, but filling. A lot of our ancestors' calories came from this boring stuff, and mushrooms, risky business. Some were edible, some were not, and trial and error back then usually meant Jerry tried it, Jerry died. So let's not eat that one again. Honey, the sweet jackpot. Now, if you were really lucky, you found honey, and humans have been obsessed with honey forever. Ice Age people almost definitely raided wild beehives, just like hunter-gatherers do today. It was dangerous, painful, and absolutely worth it. Honey meant sugar, and sugar meant energy. If berries were nature's candy, honey was the ultimate dessert. Sticky, golden, rare, probably eaten all at once in a glorious, messy binge. The gross but necessary stuff. Now let's get a little grim. Because not every snack was pretty. Sometimes people chewed on bones, even after the marrow was gone, just to suck out the last bit of flavor. Sometimes they ate stomach contents from herbivores, basically pre-chewed grass and plants, because it was easier to digest. Yes, that means Ice Age humans occasionally ate what the mammoth ate. Recycling, prehistoric edition. The social side of snacking. But here's the thing. Eating wasn't just survival. It was social. Fireside snacks built communities. Sharing food meant sharing trust. If someone handed you half their hazelnut stash, that was basically a love letter. And archaeologists think food rituals were part of early culture. Maybe certain snacks were saved for special days. Maybe eating marrow was tied to storytelling nights. We'll never know for sure, but it's easy to picture. So, Next time you reach for potato chips at midnight, remember your ancestors. They crouched in the cold, cracking hazelnuts, roasting beetles, and slurping marrow out of bones, all so you could one day enjoy a microwaved Hot Pocket. And with that cozy image, let's slowly float deeper into Ice Age kitchens, where things get stranger, fattier, and occasionally downright unappetizing.